Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. My name is McKay Allen. I'm the content manager at Log My Calls, and we're really excited you're here today. We have a very fantastically titled and incredible webinar. You can see from the title slide on your screen right now, eliminating your competition, I think is something that perched the ears up a bit, so we're excited that you're here today. A couple of quick announcements and then we'll turn it over to Barbara, who is going to be our presenter today. First, if you have questions about the content of the webinar, and we encourage you to ask questions. Just type those into the little question bar on your screen, and then we will address those at the end. I'll read those questions to Barbara, and we can make sure we get you an answer to those questions, because the question and answer period after the presentation itself is generally very good and useful. So that's first. Second, this webinar is being recorded, so if you have people you want to share this with, or if you want to listen to it again, we will send the recording to you tomorrow morning in an email, so you'll have access to that and you can share it with whomever you wish. The other point to make is that we do have webinars on a weekly basis here at Log My Calls. If you go to logmycalls.com/webinar, you will see a list of our upcoming webinars. Excuse me. A list of our upcoming webinars on topics ranging from pay-per-click to conversion page, to landing page optimization and conversion rate optimization, to SEO, to content marketing, to small business tips, to agency tips, all over the map. Really, really good stuff. So I encourage you to go to logmycalls.com/webinar, and you can look at webinar recordings from our past webinars. There's over 80 in there now, or you can sign up for future webinars. And we encourage you to do both. Now a little bit about the presenter today, and I'll let her introduce herself more thoroughly. But we're really excited to have Barbara Batt with us today. She has been in the business of helping small businesses improve their advertising and marketing for 19, 20 years, I believe. She's also worked in the marketing world in the hospitality space and has helped real estate teams across the country. She is the principal of U Creative Group, which is located outside of Denver, and she works with a lot of small businesses all over the country. And as I said, with the title like this today, I'm excited for the presentation. So with that, Barbara, why don't you go ahead and fix my introduction, and then go ahead and we'll get started.
Hey, thanks, McKay. I'm thankful to be here. Thanks so much for having me. And I'm super excited to share this information with your audience. I think they'll get some good tips here today. So thanks again. I am going to get my presentation started here. All right. So welcome to the presentation on how to eliminate your competition. Sounds like a lofty goal, but I think it's possible. Just a quick reminder, as McKay said, please feel free to type your questions into the chat box as you have them. I don't want anybody to forget their questions, so type them in as we go here, and I'll do my best to answer them at the end of the webinar. So, quick introduction. Yes, that's me. I think it's good to put a face to a voice. And as McKay said, I'm the founder and owner of U Creative Group. We've been serving the marketing and graphic design needs for small to medium-sized businesses for over 19 years now. And I love working with small businesses. The owners of small businesses are super passionate about what they do. And I guess I love working with that audience because I own my own small business. So let me start the presentation by stating the obvious. Marketing today is confusing, right? We have so many options available to us, and it creates what I call kind of a marketing paralysis. We end up kind of over-evaluating what we're doing, questioning what's going to work and what's not going to work, and we end up kind of doing not enough or very little actual marketing because we get caught in this state of paralysis. The good news, I have a solution. So what I'm going to share with you here today is kind of a formula that I've come up with over the past 19 years of working with all kinds of different small businesses in different industries. And some things in those 19 years have kind of risen to the top as some key things that we need to do to get better results from our marketing efforts. I call this formula eliminate your competition. Part of that is based on the fact that I don't think that we're paying enough attention to our competitors. We tend to kind of put a program together. We might evaluate our competition at a certain point, usually if like when we're starting our business, or if we hire a marketing professional, they'll look at the competition, but we tend to kind of forget about keeping tabs on our competitors. So the formula is based on using what we know about our competitors against them. 90% of consumers, or better, you'll see varying statistics on this, but 90% or better are searching online for solutions to problems or anticipating their purchases. They're using the internet to compare you to your competition. So understanding this is key to creating a presence online that is going to help us stand out. And that is what I've learned over the last 19 years. The one thing that makes the biggest difference, and you've heard this before, so just stay with me here for a few minutes because I'm going to clarify. Your business has to stand out in your prospect's mind. Differentiation is a huge key to getting better results from your marketing. It's also the thing that businesses find most difficult. What we find is that most businesses struggle with this for two reasons. The first is that they're just too close to their business. Having worked with lots of realtors, which is really a business that can be very difficult to differentiate. They tend to say things, when I say, how are you different from other realtors? The response I get is, I'm honest, and I work hard, and I know the market. You know, there's all these things that they're really good at, but they're not different. So you get so close to your business that you say, well, I'm honest and I know the market and I know all this stuff, but that's what everybody in your market is saying. All the realtors are saying the same thing, and they think they're saying something different. So I'll show you some ways to get around this. The number two reason is a big one, and something that I kind of have to combat against with almost every client that I work with, and that is that we're afraid to do something different from everyone else. We're raised to want to fit in. We want to look like everyone else, basically. That's why advertising works. But we're afraid to look different. We're afraid to actually differentiate because we're brought up to blend in. So this can be a very big stumbling block. Hopefully some of the examples I'll show you will give you a little bit more courage to try something a little different. This is really good news for you because your competitors are probably struggling with this also. In fact, I'm 95% sure they are. When we do research and look at competition for our clients, we see the same thing over and over and over again. This is your opportunity. This is something that you can use to your advantage. So I'd suggest that you take just 15 minutes. Just go and look to see what your competition looks like online. Do a search and maybe look at the first 2 pages in your search results and just look to see what everybody's doing. We recently did this for an auto repair shop that we're working with, and it was amazing to me how the same everybody looked in both the design of their website, so to speak, and the message that they were conveying. They all looked the same. As a consumer, nobody really stood out as the best option. Then you just kind of start looking at price, who's the cheapest, which we don't want to be in that position, right? Competing on price, or maybe location, or which website did we like the design of the best? I mean, we don't want consumers making decisions about whether or not to work with us based on things like that. So check out the competition, see what they're doing, and then determine if you really look different. If you're too close to it, like I was saying before, maybe ask some other people to look at the websites for you and say, hey, do I look like all these other guys? Look and sound. So the more distinctive that you can make your business, the harder it will be for your prospects to compare you to the competition. And this is online and offline, of course, but so much of what is happening in the world today is online, so a lot of these examples are related to online marketing. If you do this well, and my formula is really 5 steps. In today's webinar, I'm only going to be able to share a couple of them with you because of time constraints, but I'll share with you a link to get more information at the end of the presentation. But this one step alone can make a huge difference in your marketing results. So this is definitely something to give your attention to, and it's relatively easy. So here's an example from real estate. One way to differentiate yourself is to look different. So if I'm online and I'm looking at 5 different websites and one of them just looks different, I'm probably going to spend a little bit more time there just because it surprised me. So don't underestimate just the way you look in your presentation. This is an example of a typical real estate ad on the left, and a distinctive ad that really stands out in this particular marketplace. This is an ad campaign that we designed for a realtor in Evergreen, Colorado, and Evergreen is just outside of the Denver area, and it's a mountain community. And this realtor was looking for a way to be more distinctive. He already had really good market share, so he was already doing a lot of things right. And but if there's an opportunity, grasp it, right? So we decided to do something a little bit different. Everybody was running ads similar to this template that I just pulled off the internet. And I'll give you just a quick kind of bonus tip here. If you want to see how to not look, just go Google your industry, whatever that is, and add template. And then look at the images that come up in the Google search for that, and that you'll see all kinds of templates for how, in this case, all kinds of different realtors look. You don't want to look like that. You want to look different. That's why I don't like templated design, because I don't think it does you a service. It just makes you look like everyone else. But that was a little sidebar. So most realtors end up looking like this typical ad where they have a listing, their photograph, you know, they'll design it different. There's all kinds of different designs and different colors, but it looks like a realtor ad. We, as consumers, start filtering all that stuff out. We see, I can't even remember what the stats are, 5,000 different advertising messages a day now because of the internet or something crazy like that. So if we see that much advertising, we have to tune most of it out. Something different stands out. So this ad campaign is called Evergreen Style. And what we were trying to do was distinguish this mountain community from living in Denver. So the ad campaign was designed to say, hey, because some people looking in Evergreen might also be looking to live in Denver. So if we could distinguish Evergreen in a positive way from living in Denver, then we could potentially get buyers to look in Evergreen. And that's kind of why this campaign was born. And so, for example, this dog in the ad that I'm showing here, it's probably hard to see these, so I will read them to you. This one is called Chili Dog, Evergreen Style. So a chili dog in Denver looks one way. A chili dog in Evergreen looks like this. The little guy with his hand up in the other ad, that's a squirrel, I think, with his hand up. And that one is Panhandler, Evergreen Style. So a panhandler looks one way in Denver, and he looks this way in Evergreen. And lastly, the other one, which was definitely a risk, but it turned out to be the talk of the town. It's two owls on a branch, and that one's Hooters, Evergreen Style. So have fun with your marketing. But the point is that these ads don't have listings in them. They look very different from the typical real estate ad. And this campaign now has been running, I think, for 8 years. And it's been so successful. We kind of targeted buyers with it, but it ended up really building an affinity with the locals in Evergreen. And a couple of years in, they started getting calls from residents in the town of Evergreen saying, hey, I love your ad campaign. I can't wait to see what comes out next month. And when I'm ready to list my house, I'm going to list it with you. So that is pretty amazing. And that is how looking different can really make your company stand out, especially in hard to differentiate businesses. So this is happens to be another Evergreen client. My business was actually located in Evergreen for several years, so these are a couple of the more distinctive campaigns from that era, and both of them are still running. This is for a spa, a day spa that's in Evergreen, who also competes with the Denver market. And when we started working with Tallgrass, they were doing stuff similar to what you see in the other ad there, except that they were using some Tallgrass, so they were branding it a little bit better than this. But We decided to try a different approach with some billboards that they were running in the Denver area, and came up with a campaign that really capitalized on what made them different, which was their location. It wasn't a city spa, it's really more of a destination, but it's really close to Denver, so it's like you could get out of Denver without going too far for your spa experience. And this campaign has been very successful as well at helping differentiate. Clearly they look very different. This was a big risk. I'm not sure that Gail, the owner of the spa, was 100% confident that we were going in the right direction, but since then this campaign's been running for several years as well. So differentiation is a wonderful thing. And I don't use animals in all of my designs, by the way. These two just happen to feature them. Let me show you something else. This one is typical business card. I mean, you want to differentiate it all across your marketing promotions. So our goal is usually to make every single thing you put out there look different, down to your business card. This round business card, for example, is something that we designed for an auto repair shop in Denver. And that is not their original business card, but I wanted to show you a typical auto shop business card, and then something that would stand out as very different. The round cards, I use round cards for my business, and I get great feedback. One, everybody keeps it. Two, and three, on this business card, we actually put an offer, a discount offer on the back of the card to try to get first-time customers. So you can use your business card to differentiate yourself and to actually generate leads. So looking different shouldn't be underestimated. It's one great way to first get attention, which now we need to fight for, and then it's what we do inside of those campaigns and in the customer experience that determines whether or not we get the business. So some other ways to differentiate. Specializing is, I think, critical. Most of us approach differentiation, or approach our business from a more general kind of a standpoint where we say, I can help anybody. I mean, I even did this in my business, and a lot of marketers do. Something to be aware of. But the idea of being everything to everyone really sets you up to fail in your marketing, because there's no way that you can afford to promote on that generalized approach. So even if you can help anyone, just decide to market against a couple of very specialized aspects of your business. So in the auto repair example, if you can fix any kind of car, great, we'll take any kind of car. But we're specialists in Ford, let's say. So we're going to spend our marketing dollars against what we're specializing in. And you can choose what that is based on what's more lucrative, what you like to do the most, that sort of thing. Add value. Adding value is a great way to differentiate, and it allows you to not compete on price. So instead of giving a discount, you just say, we'll do that and this, and this. That's a great way to differentiate. Guarantees, almost anybody can use a guarantee. They scare a lot of businesses, but if you do them right, they work really well, and you never get burned by them. Message delivery system I'll cover here in a second. Customer care is another great one. How are you going to make my experience better than the other guy? And tell me that in your marketing. Unique process or system. That's kind of what I'm showing you here with eliminate the competition. I've defined it. I've turned it into a formula. It's a process that, because of the way I've packaged it, it's harder for my competition to duplicate, and therefore it helps me stand out. So those are some ideas. There's tons more, and like I said, I'll give you some information about that at the end of the presentation. So don't pick just one. You want to pick as many ways you can differentiate as possible. And that might sound daunting, but really if you picked 5 of them and you were the only guy in town who did all 5 of those things cohesively together, then I can't compare you to anybody else. And if they're relevant, you just become the natural choice. You rise to the top, because I can't even, nobody does what that guy does. I'm going with him. So don't do just one thing different. Do lots of things different. The other component that we're going to talk about here today is online lead generation. And this is probably the biggest up-and-coming thing that you're going to need to deal with. How am I going to be more effective at generating leads? Lead generation, because at least 90% of people who are kind of searching online are not yet ready to buy. We need to get really smart about how we're engaging with these folks online, because a lot of us are either just sending leads to our website, which is just a bunch of general information, or we're trying to sell to them right away. And neither approach works very well, especially with social media. It's really about building trust between the prospect and your brand. So you want to use lead generation as a way to build that trust. So you're building a relationship, you're starting a conversation, you're becoming a useful resource for your prospects. So in this presentation, there are other ways to generate leads online. I'm just going to focus on the website versus landing pages. And for websites, what you want to do if you're not going to do a landing page campaign, which we'll talk about in a second, is to make sure that it's easy to convert people to leads when they get to your website. We call these conversion opportunities. You want to add as many to your site as you can and make them easy to find. And these include things like putting your phone number on every page of your website very prominently, and McKay will agree that you also want to add call tracking so you know where the leads came from. Add forms in addition to your contact form. You want an appointment form if that makes sense, an estimate form. Add your social media links, free downloads. Give us your contact information, and we'll give you this useful information, that sort of thing. I know you've all probably heard all of this before. I don't see it being utilized on websites as effectively as it could be. So you just want to kind of take a look at your website again, make sure that you're taking advantage of all those different conversion opportunities. Here's a sample of a website that we designed. Yeah.
Your audio is breaking up suddenly for some reason. I'm not sure why. Did anything change with your headset or any other issue at all?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm having a very difficult time hearing you. Do you want to dial in just to the phone, to the landline number? Are you able to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Want me. Hold on just a second.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if I have that number though.
And turn off, on your GoToWebinar screen there, just click telephone instead of mic. That is better, actually, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, that's significantly better. Yeah, whatever you did, fix it.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
We'll go with that. Thank you. So, capturing leads on your website. This is an example of a site that we did for a dude ranch in Shawnee, Colorado. And you'll see, I don't know how well you can see this, but there's 5 different conversion opportunities there. Their telephone number, social media links, contact us, reservations, and request your free vacation guide. So put all those prominently on your website and use as many as you can. People like to engage with brands in lots of different ways. So you want to give them the opportunity to engage with your brand the way they want to. That'll look different for everyone. This is that auto shop I was talking about, newly designed site, and we've got get an estimate, telephone number, contact us, request an appointment. I didn't circle it, but social media, and there's actually a couple of other forms deeper into the website. But so there's all these different conversion points on a website that you want to make sure you're including so that you make it as easy as possible to generate leads on your site. But I think the secret weapon is landing pages. And for those of you who don't know what landing pages are, it's basically a one-page site, or maybe a mini site, but usually it's one page that is designed specifically to answer a certain problem or solve a certain problem. And it requires that you know your target audience really well, but they're very effective at capturing leads. One of the reasons I like landing pages goes back to the earlier piece of the presentation, is it's a great way to differentiate. Looking online, for example, for this auto repair shop, and we were looking at how other auto repair shops are trying to generate leads online, and except for the really big guys, none of them are using landing pages. So if I was looking for oil change and I got a website where I had to kind of hunt through to find information on oil change, conversely, we could send somebody to an oil change page that specifically addresses that issue. So if they're looking for an oil change, bam, they found one. And I can't underestimate the importance of that when somebody's using the internet to solve a problem. Now my slides aren't working. I'll do it this way. Okay, so reason number 2 is better user experience. Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. So again, like I was just saying, the content is addressing the consumer's needs specifically. So they get to your landing page and you've answered their question immediately. Depending on the situation, you may or may not ask for the sale. like I said earlier, a lot of times you're just trying to cultivate a relationship and prove yourself to be a good resource to them. But depending on the situation, if it's an oil change, you might actually request an appointment. There's no navigation usually on landing pages, so there's nothing to distract the user. They find exactly the information that they're looking for, and you've got a clear call to action, and they respond. And the nice thing is if they don't respond over and over and over again, you know something's not working on your landing pages and you can change it. Higher conversions, don't let this one scare you. HubSpot released some research that said that companies can benefit from having multiple landing pages. I think their results were like 40. You don't need that many, but you do want to have different landing pages for different problems. That's the point of the landing page, is that you figure out which things you'll benefit from the most getting new leads, and then create a landing page campaign for each one of those. So the more landing pages you have dealing with specific problems, the more leads you get. So higher conversions. We tested a landing page against our home page, and we actually got 3 times more conversions on this particular campaign than we did just putting it in the sidebar on the home page. So the point of that was that we didn't, I don't know if you can see this very well, but the landing page didn't distract. It was just one clear message, whereas the website's got all kinds of stuff going on. So I'm guessing a lot of people don't even see that opportunity to sign up or become a lead. Reason number 4 is build trust. It's one of the main goals of landing pages, and because the visitor came to your landing page looking for specific information and you gave it to them, you've already become one step closer to gaining their trust and starting to develop that relationship. It's the follow-up process that comes after they get to your landing page and give you their contact information that will be the key to establishing that relationship. They're easy to test. So if I have a landing page promotion out there for oil changes, and I know that 100 people came and only 2 actually filled it out, I know I need to do something different. So we can change it up, put it back out there, and see if we get better results. So this is a really nice facet of landing pages. If you were to try to do that on a website, wow, what would you change first? They're so comprehensive, it's really hard to know where to start making changes. So you do need a website. I think the website's a good place to build credibility. It gives people, especially after they've visited a landing page, then they can go to your website and check you out even more. So they work hand in hand. You don't want to do one or the other in most cases, but the landing pages are probably going to capture more leads for you. So test your pages. This is showing you 3 different opportunities to capture a lead based on the website, landing page 1, which is just kind of a make your appointment kind of approach, and then the third is actually a video landing page. So this is if somebody was looking for what to do if their check engine light comes on, then in one scenario they go to our website, and I would send them directly to the check engine light page on your website instead of sending them to the home page. At least you're closer to giving them the information they're looking for, but they still have the opportunity to be distracted. Then in the second scenario, we're asking them to give us our contact information based on saying we fixed this and give them a few reasons why they should choose us, and then in the next scenario a video. So we would send leads to all 3 different pages and see which one is actually converting the most leads. And the last reason, we've found a great new tool that makes it really easy to set these things up. And I will share with you kind of a tutorial, a video tutorial that we're right in the middle of developing and we'll be putting out there in the next several days that will show you how to do this, create multiple landing pages very easily on your own if you want to. I mean, we can do it for you, of course, or you can find other sources to do it for you, but we've found that a lot of small businesses just want to know how to do this themselves. With this tool, you can actually add them to your Facebook pages, so that's another really nice benefit. And it's all super easy. I couldn't believe how easy this program was, so it's exciting to find a tool that will help us do things that work better without spending lots of time and money. So, that's a lot of information. I will have information available at eliminateyourcompetitiontv.com that, of course, is a lead generation form, so you can kind of see how some of this stuff works. And feel free to go there and check it out, and we'll send you a guide that kind of walks you through some of the stuff that I just covered, and you'll also get access to that free landing page video tutorial that I just mentioned. Also, we're testing a new thing on the uCreative Group site called a welcome gate. So if you go to ucreativegroup.com, you'll see the welcome gate, which is kind of a landing page introduction to a website. And if you're interested in getting that report, you can give us your contact information and get that report there. So that should do it. And we'll take some questions.
Awesome. Barbara, thank you, and thanks for changing whatever you changed with the audio there. In the last like 20 seconds you were talking there, it was being weird, so I'm glad you changed that. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, you bet.
Awesome. So yeah, questions, everybody. We want you to ask questions and address those to Barbara. We'll read those to her, and she can attack them one at a time. We just got a few minutes as well for it. First of all, Barbara, you talked a little bit about at the start differentiating in terms of design. How big of a problem is that template design model that everybody seems to be using? I mean, you see on websites, you see just the smiling people with the headphones on, or you see on real estate sites, you see just pictures of houses and people smiling. How big of an issue is that, and are there industries, I guess, in which maybe it's worse than others?
I think in personal services it is probably a bigger problem. If you're doing something like plumbing and auto repair and that kind of stuff, it's my experience that people want to know who they're doing business with. They want to do business with people, not with businesses, so to speak. So we usually encourage our clients to use their photograph. You know, put your picture there, because I want to know who I'm going to be doing business with. There's an element of trust in that you just don't get from a stock photo of some guy working on your car. So, and the templates, you know, I'm a graphic designer, so I am obviously biased, but I really don't think that templates do a service to businesses. I know you're saving money by purchasing templates, but I'm afraid it's probably costing you more money than it's saving you because you just don't stand out enough. So sometimes it's probably a better idea to consider how much money you might be losing because you got a less expensive alternative to your design problem.
That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. In terms of landing pages, my sense, and you tell me if you agree with this or not, is that a lot of small businesses, I would say most small businesses, do not take advantage of landing pages, and if they do, maybe not correctly. Would you agree with that, number one? And then number two, what are the sort of first steps to starting down creating the landing page and sort of capturing leads?
I'm sorry, the audio kind of cut out there, but I think I got the gist of your question. No, most small businesses are not using landing pages, and I think that will change out of necessity as we learn more about how to effectively generate leads online. That's why having more effective tools available to small businesses is going to be critical. So no, they're not using them. Some of the keys to landing pages is really about copywriting, and I'll cover that in that free video course that we're putting out about landing pages, kind of the best practices for creating a landing page that has the best potential to convert.
Great. And then you mentioned a moment ago just sort of the ways people can measure their success in terms of their marketing. Because obviously if they spend more money to design or they create a landing page that's going to cost them a little bit extra money, what are the ways you recommend that they gauge whether or not that money was well spent? And obviously there's web traffic, there's calls. What methods are there to determine if that extra money was well spent, I guess is my question.
Well, and clearly the whole tracking mechanism, either tracking calls, which you can actually do with landing pages as well. So the tracking mechanism, the analytics, to go in and actually review what kind of traffic you're getting and then what the conversions are. So that does require some time, but obviously if you're making that investment, that's some time that you want to commit to doing that sort of thing. So you look at your analytics. The first thing is to establish goals for your campaign. It's like, what do you want the campaign to do? Actually determine what you either want it to do or need it to do to give you a return on the investment. So for a landing page, you'll probably want to determine how many conversions, what your conversion rate needs to be for it to be a decent campaign for you financially. That also depends on what your conversion rate is from lead to actual customer. But for landing pages, you want to set your goal structure up based on how many leads you're generating. And then if it's not working, change it. And again, that's one of the things that is really nice about landing pages, is that it gives you that flexibility to go in and change it very quickly in response to poor results.
Great. And then our last couple of questions come from Lee. He says, first, can you track people that open a landing page? Yeah, you can. You can track people that visit the landing page, and then, of course, the people that fill out a landing page form and or call from that landing page. You can track all of that. And then another question I think is really good. What is the cost of a landing page? And I'll take a stab at this if I can, Barbara, and then you can have the last word. There are lots of services online, sites that we can email you about that you know, start really pretty inexpensively, $20 a month, something like that, for you to set up a landing page, have forms, that sort of thing. I would recommend having someone help you with the design of that page, someone like Barbara, setting that up and how to, you know, figuring out how to use it. But yeah, what is your sense on cost, process for setting up landing pages for small businesses?
Yeah, so depending on whether or not you want to kind of dive into creating landing pages yourself or have someone else do it for you, you're right, you can pay anywhere from $20 a month on up, substantially on up. But the solution we found for doing it yourself is $197, and it's for the business owner who wants to create landing pages themselves, or at least test it and try it. It's probably the most cost-effective way to do it. Now, there is a caveat. You need some kind of follow-up system in place once the lead is generated. So that usually requires marketing automation, and that's, depending on how many leads you have, that starts at around $20 a month.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, good. Barbara, thank you so much for your time today. Really good information, really good questions from everybody. And as I said, this webinar is being recorded. It'll be up on our website this afternoon, and you will have the ability to come and listen to it any time after that and share it with people. You'll also get an email tomorrow morning that has the recording, everyone. So we encourage you to share that. Barbara, any last thoughts before we run today?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I hope that everyone got at least one good little tidbit out of this that will help them improve their marketing results, and I'm always happy to answer any questions. If anyone wants to email me, you can reach me at barb@ucreativegroup.com.
Great. Barbara, thank you for your time today. We appreciate it. Everybody have a wonderful day today. Again, logmycalls.com/webinar, and you can listen to this webinar and many others. So thanks again, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon.